I get up and we start having thunder. Not sure if that's good or bad. God, it is great to be back up in northeast Oklahoma. I live 227 miles away from here, and I made that drive today after I picked up my daughter from school. And it's great coming home, and this is home for me. I was adopted the day before I turned 1 year old in Baptist Children's Home in Owasso, Oklahoma. My foster father for 2 weeks in Baptist Children's Home was Randy Brogdon. Kind of found that out about 8 years ago when I was running for U.S. Senate against Senator Inhofe, and we're talking about it. And after the meeting, we go, oh, wow, okay. It went into a lot of detail. So, talk about adoption. Families have adopted kids, and that's a personal issue for me because of that. And I'll go back to that in a little bit, but a little bit why this is home for me. My mother and father that adopted me, they lived in the big town of Xena, Oklahoma. I think most of you guys know that big old town over there. If you're a Wyatt or a Bigsby or somewhere have that in your lineage, odds are up in this area, we are related. At the same time, my father was also pastor in that First Baptist Church in Afton. So when I say Northeast, getting to come up here to Delaware County like I was last week, or getting to come up here to Craig County today, this is coming home. And this is home for me. It's just looking at everything, and it's great to wake up in the greatest state, in the greatest country in this world. Plain and simple. I've listened to 4 people speak so far tonight, and I've listened to them a lot over the last 4 or 5 weeks now. And there's one thing, we all agree that we're all Christians. I hope we're all all conservatives since we're running as Republicans. I've yet to hear one of them at all say they're a constitutionalist. Four different times I took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And let me tell you, there are a lot of enemies on both sides of the aisle in Washington. I took that oath serious. I will go fight all of the unconstitutional laws that the Biden administration has been pushing down our throats for the last year and a half. Get rid of the unconstitutional regulations on our oil, our gas, our agriculture. They gotta go. But the easiest way to do this, I've heard several people talk about reducing our deficit. I haven't heard a plan on how to do that. Not one of them. Here's my plan. There are certain key constitutional functions of the federal government. The EPA, it's unconstitutional. The Federal Department of Education is unconstitutional. I have legislation drafted right now that will put approximately 2.3 million bureaucrats in Washington on the unemployment line by abolishing 36 separate unconstitutional agencies. It's already drafted. They're all 1 page each. Have legislation drafted to require the same thing like we do in Oklahoma on single topic bills. If you can't go out there and figure out what a bill says and what it stands for in about a page, instead of the 13,821 pages of Obamacare, we have problems. Got legislation that I'm working on currently with a few other people to go out there and actually require certain amounts of time based on how large bills are so that our congressmen and our senators actually have time to read them, and also to make it required for them to do so. But my pride and joy legislation that I'm working on, it's a really personal one for me. We all talk about protecting the unborn. I say, you're sure. Unborn lives matter. You are absolutely right, they are. And fortunately, we're in one of the few states in this country that are fighting tooth and nail every single session to do our best to abolish abortion. Why aren't we fighting for the children that are currently alive as hard as we're fighting for the ones in the womb still? Our foster care is a disaster. Adoption is unheard of with the rates that they're charging right now. It'll cost you approximately $58,000 on average nationwide to adopt an American-born child. When I was adopted, it was about $4,200, and I understand that, that's been a day or two ago. But still, the issue is I can go adopt a child from China or Japan, Iran, Russia for $13,000, and that includes bringing that child over here. That needs to stop. The legislation that I'm currently working on has to do with the safety of our children. Currently, a business does not legally have to comply with law enforcement, a private business, on the abduction of a child until they serve with a subpoena. So if I'm at Walmart and my 10-year-old daughter gets abducted at 5 o'clock on Friday evening, odds are Walmart's not going to cooperate until sometime around 10 a.m. Monday morning. That is unheard of. On my legislation, it will require businesses, and the actual words are, businesses shall cooperate with law enforcement in the cases of child abductions or attempted abductions. It also states in there that a law enforcement cannot use this as a fishing expedition to go out there and try to get other crimes. We know how some of there's some great ones. Chief T, he is, I've heard nothing but great about him for the last 8 years. But there are some law enforcement people that definitely, like every other organization, there are bad apples in every group. So because of that, I did include that in there. Reason this came up was January 1st, I had a friend of mine who their 10-year-old daughter was attempted abducted down in Durant, Oklahoma. And they tried to get law enforcement help. Businesses wouldn't cooperate one bit. And I called my sheriff that I have a good relationship down there. And he said, no, Eric, there's nothing they can do until subpoena is drawn out. On January 1st, there ain't no judges around, there's no attorneys around, you're not gonna get anything done. Well, it actually took about 2 days later to get the business to cooperate when I was over there, talking with their security department, saying either you're gonna do it or I'm gonna go Facebook Live and tag every single news channel in Oklahoma and Texas. They decided to cooperate with law enforcement real quick at that point in time. But that's what it took. It shouldn't take me doing that. As for why I'm running, we all have heard since the Murrah building, Oklahoma, strong. We've all seen the Oklahoma standard of coming together to help our neighbors, help our friends, help the strangers that we don't even know in time of tragedies. We need that kind of fight and those kind of values in Washington that are going to go out there and they're going to work together and they're going to figure out ways to help our neighbors here. I don't care what people in Tulsa or Oklahoma City or districts 3 or 4 want. My job as CD2 is to represent the people here. From Bartlesville to Miami, down to Broken Bow, and over to where I'm from, down in Kingston, Oklahoma. That's my concern. I'm not going to Washington to make 435 new friends. I've got 3, and half the time 2 of them are mad at me. I don't care. That's not it. I have 4 girls. 20, 18, 17, and 10. My wife says it's like wrestling velociraptors. She's probably right. But I got a little 2-year-old grandson that's absolutely amazing too. And when his share as a national debt is approximately $98,000 growing daily, we need somebody who's going to think outside the box. Somebody who's going to actually read this, understand this, read our founding documents that led up to this, and are going to go fight to protect this. It goes with me everywhere. I've had it since 1997 when I flew into Bangor, Maine. Pretty worn. Senator Lankford's given me about 3 different ones to try to get me replaced, and I won't do it. But I was coming back from Iraq, and a little old lady was handing these out to all of us, and then giving us cell phones to call our families. And I've carried it with me everywhere I've gone since, whether it's military service, whether it's political events. Some of you saw me 8 years ago when I was running against Senator Inhofe, and I was carrying this exact same one then. It's what I do, and I sit there and I read it every single day. This is our founding documents. This is what we need to be abiding by. If legislation doesn't abide by the Bible and contradicts the Bible, I will not support it. It's an automatic vote no. That's step 1. Step 2, if it violates the Constitution, it's dead, it's done. I will vote no. Step 3, do the people in Congressional District 2 actually want this legislation? No? Then it's gone. Won't support it. And finally, does it actually benefit the people of Congressional District 2? And how much money is it going to cost us? That is the way I will determine what legislation I will vote for and what I won't. And I will make sure that everybody knows exactly what legislation, why I do or do not support legislation. There is no, oh, well, and you never get a straight answer. They talk around it for 5 minutes. That's never gonna happen. Same thing, I do all my videos, I have video in this one. I put them on my Facebook page. Every time I speak differently. I've got different topics. I don't have a speech, I speak from the heart. But the reason I put all my videos up there is I expect everyone in this room to hold me accountable for anything that I say. I will not make a promise that I'm going to get a certain thing done. Unfortunately, I got to rely on 435 other crazy people up in Washington to be able to do that. What I will promise you is I will fight to make sure I do the best job I can to represent everybody in this room and everybody in this district. There is one other promise I will make. I have been here for my 3 oldest girls through high school. My 10-year-old in 6 years is going to be going into high school. I promise you, I will be home for her high school years. I will not serve any more than 6 years. This isn't a promise that we all heard 10 years ago from our congressional district person here. This is a promise that if I don't do it, there's that woman right there, my wife Shannon, she probably will kill me.
Oh yeah.
If I don't abide by this promise. My family is my world. Everything I do for my family. When I'm in military service, running for this office, I really don't want to go to DC and go fight with all these idiots out there. But I also know.
He just called you a liar.
I don't want to go up there. But I also know that we have to have people that have fought for this country, that have fought for the people of Oklahoma, and want to continue fighting for us to be able to do it. I'm going to end on this one note. When the Republicans take back the House, and we are going to take back the House this year, I will gladly vote to impeach President Biden. Now you're all going to be mad at me, aren't you? Just clap for me. I'm not going to vote to impeach President Biden because of a stolen election. It's not because I don't believe it was done. It's because, one, I will get 0 Democrat support. You and I both know that. I won't even get a lot of the Republicans won't even support me. What I will vote to impeach him for is, 1, the dereliction of duty on keeping our southern borders open. And the most important for me and every single military person, every single person that's ever had a military family member in their family, is August 15th of last year, when 13 Marines died and hundreds, if not thousands, of our Americans and our allies got left in Afghanistan. That is treason. I will personally draw up the articles of impeachment, and once we impeach him, I will immediately call upon the Senate and the House to have our U.S. military immediately start a military tribunal for charges for treason. My name is Eric Wyatt. My website's easy, it's ericwyatt.com. Look me up. I've got push cards back there. I've got donation/sign-up volunteer cards. My wife has them. Please, talk to me. I'll answer any questions you guys have. I'll stay until the tornadoes actually start hitting. So, thank you.
My name is Eric Wyatt, and I approve of this message.